Accents Furniture, and my mom Linda here is with me. We're partners. I recognize several of you ladies from the shop. I had no idea all of you would be here, so I'm a little nervous, but thank you for the honor of inviting me. We really appreciate that. And yes, after reading Patty's email on our Facebook, and it was so complimentary, I mean, I could not say no. My web designer called and said, you have to do this event. You should hear these compliments from her. So we are here today to show you just what some of the most popular colors are this year, to maybe give you some decorating ideas, some tips. I have a photo album I can pass around now, or when I'm finished, you guys can look at some of the jobs that I've done. I think I've decorated for a few of you already, but anyway, I brought some things just to show you kind of some ideas that are inexpensive ways to change different things around your house without changing all of your furniture. A lot of people over the last 5 or 6 years have went from the Tommy Bahama style, which was a lot of the pecan woods. They've, went from some of the oranges to the turquoises, but they're not wanting to change everything. So you can mix coral colors, which are a lot of the oranges, with the turquoise. You can also just change out a few things like throw pillows, throws, accent pieces, lamps, without changing everything. And you can do that fairly inexpensive. Sometimes with your lamps, which I brought an Uttermost lamp here, you want to go larger lamps. The look today is a little bit larger pieces and less of. So if you do like a nicer lamp, this lamp runs about $139. Then you can bring in a couple of new florals to kind of accent that. And then you can get some inexpensive things, some vases that sell for like $25 and $29. A bowl with some balls for your cocktail table, that sells for around $39. And then I brought a couple of throws that I like to put up on the sofa. They sell for like $59, and then you can always accent with your throw pillows. I also brought just a comforter. I also brought just a comforter sham with a sheet that's around it, just to show you some different things you can do for your bedding too with the throw pillows. And that's an accent rug down there. So, and then I brought this picture. This is also an Uttermost picture, and that just shows you some different ways you can bring all your colors together. Everybody knows that the color kind of has changed from the beiges, and they're calling it like greige is the new name. It's a gray with a taupe in it, so it still can go with your brown accents, but it's not the steel cold grays that are out there. So you can still blend a lot of the brown furniture and the woods in with that. But I also brought a paint wheel, and I marked some of the popular paint colors this year, so if anybody cares to look for that, or if I can help anybody pick out any paints. How many of you have been in our store? Okay, great. Yeah, everybody that I do recognize. Okay, that's good. Well, there's many of you that haven't, so you need to come on down and take a look.
What is it around?
So my mom and I are at 2712 North Cocoa Boulevard. We are one block south of the B-line on US 1.
Oh, okay.
So if any of you are familiar with the Baskets by Baker, the Baker flooring building that was there for like 25 years, we bought that building 11 years ago. So that's where we're at. I brought some cards with the directions on there, and we do have a Facebook site. And I'll tell you a little bit about our store. It's about 5,500 square foot. We opened this particular business in 2006, but we had another store before this in Merritt Island that we opened up in 1995, and we sold that back in 2004. When we opened this particular shop up, we started doing the outside decorating. We didn't do that when we had our other store, the Great Garage Sale in Merritt Island. I don't know if any of you had ever been to that.
Yes.
You had? Okay, yes. It was very busy in those times, so we actually didn't do any outside decorating. But this time, I would say probably 90% of our business is in-home consultations and decorating. But we set up our shop. You can buy right off the floor. We try to change on a weekly basis so that a lot of our regular customers who come in, some of them come in 2 and 3 times a week. We want to make sure when they come in that they're seeing new items each time. So we sell right off the floor, and we encourage to buy off the floor. We do have catalogs that you can order out of. Most of our furniture, 3 weeks is a good time limit at the most. You don't have to wait 8 or 10 weeks. So we work on a 3-week order time frame. We get pictures, mirrors, lamps, and accessories in pretty much on a weekly basis. That changes very often. And we have about a 20% markup, so if you are looking for new furniture, an average sofa and love seat in our shop sells for $8.99 for the set. And it is good quality, but there again, we're working on that lower markup because we're smaller scale. So we look on a quicker for a quicker turnover instead of it sitting too long. Yeah. Does anybody have any questions?
What are the newest colors?
So the new colors really are these, the turquoise and the teals, they are in, and the gray. Are you there with those colors? Okay, good. It's funny. Actually, in our store, I would say right now probably 75% of it is the turquoise and teals because that's what everybody's coming in for. Still some of the corals, like this poppy picture, those colors are still popular. The yellows and the bright oranges, those are still popular. Florida right now is on this turquoise teal kick, but navy is the next color that is coming in. And you can blend it with the turquoise, so it does look nice. Blues are one of those colors you can put 3 or 4 colors together, and they can really accent each other without clashing. And gray and beige goes nice with it. Actually, if you notice in this pillow, this is a gray with a taupe tone to it. Same within the matting of this picture. So you can see those colors are just fine.
Yeah, Donette, I have something I want to ask.
Okay.
Okay, so we've all collected furniture for the last 50 years.
Right.
Okay? And there's a few pieces that we like and a few pieces we don't. But we don't know what to get rid of unless you're like Diane and you move 30 times. And to keep the business. That's why her home is so beautiful. But what is your fee to come out to a house? How long do you usually take to say, all right, this is my view of your home?
Right. So normally it's a 1-hour consultation. It's $75 for an hour. I can normally do a house that's, you know, 2,500 or under in an hour. If it's over 2,500, I did a 3,700 square foot the other day. It took me about 2.5 hours because it was 2 stories. She had a lot to look at. I'll give you the ideas of what pieces will work and what won't. I'm not the type of decorator that will come in and tell you to get rid of everything. I never do that. I could tell you that maybe there would be a room for some of the smaller pieces that don't fit in out in your main rooms, that maybe we could make one spare room into that look where we can create, you know, a nice atmosphere for those pieces. Because I work a lot at the Great Outdoors in Titusville. I don't know if any of you are familiar with that. Yes. They travel all over the world, and so they don't always have all Florida pieces. So I'm trying to blend in the different pieces they've collected from the different countries and places that they visited. So I'll come in and ask you what your most important rooms are that you're wanting to work on, and a little bit of your budget, because there again, I brought pieces to show you. You could put in a $50 lamp that might look just as nice, or you could put in $150. You could put in a $125 picture, or we could find a nice picture for $50. So it really just depends what your budget is. It doesn't mean it's going to look any less nice. It just might not be certain pieces, you know, like this floral is $139, but then we have smaller florals that are like $59 and $69, so they're half the price. Yeah. So that's basically it, and I usually need about a 1.5 to a 2-week notice right now. We've been very busy, you know, and we're so grateful for that. But about a 1.5 or 2 weeks to come out. Our service, once we start decorating, which is really a unique service, and it's kind of how we got started, because we didn't realize how bad the economy was when we opened back up in 2006. We'd been off for 2 years traveling and thought everything was wonderful, you know. But we started this decorating service when we first went back into business to kind of get our name out there. And as you read on our brochure, we actually would go out and do an in-store or an in-home consultation. I would give the person the ideas, the customer the ideas, find out about what their budget is. They come back to the shop, kind of look at the ideas that I had, and then I would actually load a truck with accessories. So it's not furniture, but with accessories. I'd load lamps, pillows, throws, pictures, you know, decor. And I would bring it out and offer to set it up. We charge $100 an hour once we get there. The guys and I come out together. We rearrange everything, set everything up, and they tell me before I leave what they want to keep. So they didn't feel the pressure that if I buy this and it doesn't work, what happens now? Plus, they don't buy it and not know what to do with it, because I'm going to be out there hanging, even their own items, hanging their pictures, moving their furniture around, setting up the lamps, remaking the beds, adding a few pillows and throws to that. That really took off, and we were ecstatic because, you know, there again, 2006, 2009 was, you know, those were 3 rough years. But that has really been our staple for this particular store, is the outside decorating. And if there's anything you don't like at the end of the day, we just go around, my guys take it back down, we either put your pieces back, or we can bring something different, or, you know, whatever they want.
And this is the way I met Donetta. I have family on Beachside, the Potts, Bob and Deline, and so they came in that morning, and Deline and I went somewhere, and we came back, and we walked in, and I went, oh my gosh, is this the same house? It was absolutely phenomenal.
Yeah, well, and it's neat because, for instance, with Bob and Deline, all of their furniture was not new pieces. There were some pieces we were trying to incorporate that they already had. And I always like it when somebody trusts me enough to leave, because it gives me a little bit more, you know, you're very attached. As we get older, all of us, we're very attached and creatures of habit of how things are. So to see somebody come in and start taking things, it's very nerve-wracking. But when you walk in and you see the finished product, it's a change that you couldn't have done if you'd have been there, or without me there, because you probably wouldn't have seen it a different way. A very good example is my mother's house, which I redecorated for her about a week and a half ago. And I was doing it as a surprise for her birthday, and on Saturday, I had the guys start loading things. Well, she had a little bit of a clue, because we didn't have a job, and we're loading the truck full of stuff out of the shop. And as I'm loading, and she's not normally a blue person, I'm loading navy blues and turquoises, and she's asking the guys, what are you doing with that stuff? And I'm telling them, just act like we've got to deliver, you know. And I see her shaking her head, and she's helping customers, so we go over and decorate her house. And when she got off work Saturday, I was still working with the guys at another job. She called me, she said, I love it. And she has pictures on her phone, but she said, I would have never put any of this in my house. I don't normally like blue. So, and it's a whole new look. Yeah.
And I can say my neighbor at the condo has the most gorgeous place I have ever walked into. And she did it all.
Thank you. I actually have her pictures in my photo album.
Beautiful.
Thank you so much. She, her neighbor, a friend of mine who's become a friend of mine over the years, was her story. It's kind of interesting in case Sandy hasn't told you. She is from Canada. She was coming from the airport to fly in for a 2-day short Allegiant Air trip, which is like a Friday to a Sunday. Did not know about us. Had bought a condo originally over at the Meridian. And she waltzes in. She's very high-strung, energetic. She walked in. She said, I'm going to be here for 1 day, and I'd like to know if you could decorate our condo. And I'm like, she goes, we leave tomorrow at 3 o'clock. And I'm like, she said, could you come down and take a look at it this afternoon? And I did. And she had all of her furniture, but she had no accessories, none. She had no pictures on the wall, no greenery, you know, nothing, just the big, you know, the larger pieces. So anyway, I came back to the shop, and the next morning at 10 a.m., the guys and I loaded up a truck. It took us about 2 hours. We got to her house at 12 o'clock. She had to leave for the airport by 3:15 at the absolute latest. We literally decorated 22, well, I don't know, they're probably about 2,000 square foot, a little more.
That one.
Yeah,
I'm in the Miranda. I'm at Miranda.
Yes, yeah. Well, and her first one was at the Meridian, which is where we did. And so at 3:15, my guys are grabbing their drills. She's locking the door. I don't know her from Adam and Eve. And she says, can I call you with a credit card number when I get to the airport? And I was like, absolutely, you know, and that's what she did. And ever since then, I've decorated 5 homes for her, and she's never been here. She's always in Canada when I do them. She's just a very nice person, and thank you, and tell her I said hi. Yes.
Can I ask, grayish is all over the universe here now, but the turquoise, is that mostly coastal and southern, or is that throughout the United States too?
You know, it's funny because when we go to the furniture show, which is in High Point, North Carolina, and they do show, you'll know what the color is going to be in Florida about 6 months after you go to the furniture show. Florida is about 6 months behind what everybody else is doing. So like when we get to the furniture show, like when we saw the navies back in October, nobody had even asked for anything navy, but now, my mom's house, in fact, has the navy, but everything that came out was navy in Florida. We're about 6 months behind the times of what everybody else is doing. Now, I'm sure if you live in some of the deep northern states, you're probably not buying a lot of the textured and the coastal. That doesn't mean you can't blend it in with a different look. You just might not be doing the fish and the shells and different pieces like that.
My daughter's using it in California.
Okay.
And she's using it with modern, with the glass front pieces
Yes.
and all. And of course, not the fish and whatever, but that is a color that's very popular.
You know, another thing that we noticed at the show, which has not hit, it's starting to over the last couple months, but the satin nickel is going out, and the new color, I would kind of describe it as a champagne color because it's a very light gold. It is taking off in all of the models around, even here in Vieira, the chandeliers, the faucets, the lighting, the picture frames. Now, even though it has a gold hue to it, it's not the heavy carb, so everything's very simple. In fact, we just ordered a couple cocktail and end table sets, and the legs on it are the champagne gold. So that brushed nickel is starting to, now not that everybody's going to start changing every light in their house because the brushed nickel went out, but you can actually blend the two together. They're doing that. It's not a bright, not like a brassy color. Champagne would be the best way to describe it.
I just love to see this color because I brought all my accessories back in the 80s, and they're all seafoam. I like the fact I have a little bit of turquoise, but not a lot.
See, you hung on, and see, you're the smart one. You're not going to have to spend anything to change your stuff. Well, and the neat thing is what you can do to give you a little bit of a new look is the seafoam had more of a mauve with it, so what you could do is change out some of your mauve pieces for the coral. So the coral is very popular with the turquoise and the teal. So you could get rid of, but believe it or not, the light pinks, there again, haven't seen that at all yet, but boy, they were really hot at market too. They're actually just about the color of your pants, just a really pretty shade, and it goes nice with the gray too. Has not hit here yet, hasn't hit in our store at all.
Can I ask, do you carry more casual pieces? Because there are a lot of people that don't do formal.
That's true. So we have, I was going to tell you earlier, we have about 30 catalogs, and we have all different styles of furniture. What we carry in the shop mostly is an upscale coastal. I like to call it a classy coastal, a contemporary coastal. If I am decorating, for instance, when I decorated Sandy's over at the Miranda, they're on the beach, but these are very expensive condos, so she wanted a coastal flair, but she wanted it upscale. I did do a few pieces with fish and different things, but I did them from a company that, like the fish wall art, they're more like $300 versus an iron fish that might cost you $50, $60, $70. So I did more of an upscale look for her. She actually has nail heads on her sofa, even though it is a very light cream, well, it has a grayish cream hue to it, but it's just an upscale sofa in love. We do carry some casual in the shop. I think we have a fairly good blend. I try not to carry on the floor in the 5,500 square foot a bedroom set that might be $6,000 out of the catalog because it's going to sit there 3 times as long as a bedroom that might sell solid wood for $2,900 for the whole set, but you can get it. And I can always order in pieces. We carry Riverside. I don't know if any of you have heard of Riverside Furniture. We carry Best Chair, which is a company that sells mostly reclining accent chairs, different things. You can pick fabric. We carry Capri. I'm sure a lot of you have heard of Capri Furniture. They're out of Ocala. They're more of the seagrass, the rattan. They are also a custom order company for sofas, so you can pick. They have beautiful fabrics to choose from. They're a little more expensive. We don't carry a lot of that on the floor, but several different companies like that. And on our website, you can go on our website or you can go on our Facebook and get some of that information, or I can also give it to you today. Yeah. Do you want me to pass that around? Maybe Does anybody else have any questions that I haven't answered or that I didn't go over?
I have a question.
Yes.
I have a navy blue oriental rock.
Okay.
So I'm just thrilled with that navy blue.
Absolutely. And what you can do to accent that rug, if you haven't already, what color is your sofa?
It's called champagne. So it's
Perfect. Well, that's great. So what I would suggest doing, and I have to walk everybody, what I would suggest doing is a rug